Arishima Maya Momina, Joe UTV so any Ebraso, Omaimu, Amanen Samoa Samu Abuabuano, Edina, Ebedaimo, say Cassiabo, Namekam, say Mokubi, Adaroma, and a day and Semno Eba, a Desaway chocolate drink. You hear, no, so she special ice mineral water, a special drink, say come up, that on I can be best point savings, loans limited, a banker. Ghana Fuina Jatum Dial star 277 hash. Now, bank no any South Son Mokuya Daruma near the Summer Hodono Eba and some dorsal. Didn't market be any.
Masiba fee aqua sitana na sika be 1.517 million euros. Wajia tumsa kadia buying a cradia framonone ediabe boy e-learning no a yetwa we ede efriho.
Abena Osei Asari, a Minister of State. But that today I just say IMF in Shisheno, Ghana buying Egusua a distro dende.
Onumunyan for Isaac Adongo wakasa edia tudwa se Ghana isika semno ejigu dada ansana COVID-19 yani Ukraine ntokwa mpo ebifrase.
Anti-witchcraft bill eye emra ye abata ebimu aye bom baye na ye diomani no Ghana de siasre omampani ekufuado se omfa nsa enhyase.
Fisi eye brono a ewo enkran na adehye no esra ban sakwa hodo nam so ase papa enti obehia aban ensem emwa.
Nananam ahemfo ewo Kenya se number 1 hwedie mu Kenya se number 2 chese omampani ekufuado wadadawo oshomubo so be won kwantempo ama be sabre nyaade omampani aye amom.
We ya ne nsem dodo na no enanyumire kase boyi ebetwa gu ewo so akenkanfo eye me Sadat Mohammed Mene
David Ofori Safo Yebowra ensem no emu na ye call Minister of State ewo Finance Ministry Honorable Abena Osei Asari Oba Himan da tudwa chese IMF enhye wodema Ghana ban no Ghana ban edini na so pepepepepe ti se Ghana fo challenge so a oman sikasem ahyase ejina pa na hwe media budget reviewer finance minister edi kotu dwa parliament na eno ekire sampa eno di adanse sampa Ghana sikasem asan epija biemu.
First of all, we need to agree on the fact that in 2019, even before COVID-19,
Mr. Speaker, clearly tells you that the economy is on the path of recovery, and we are happy with the policies that we have put in place to make sure the economy gets back on track. Mr. Speaker, we all know inflation. We saw inflation going up to 54.1% in December 2022. Currently, as we speak, in June, inflation has fallen to 22.8%. And this is due to the policies that we have put in place, as well as Bank of Ghana's monetary policy. Mr. Speaker, the exchange rate is also being moderated, and we are hoping to bring it down to levels that works for all of us. When you look at our gross international reserves, Mr. Speaker, that is also improving. Compared to 2023, it was around 2.5 months of imports, but as we speak, it is 3.1 months of imports at the end of June. And the trade balances and all our external balances are all trending in the positive. So clearly it tells you that we are making some recoveries, and we hope to continue with that. Let me put it on record that we never derailed the IMF program prior to 2022. We were on track, and we completed fully the IMF program prior to 2020, Mr. Speaker. And again, currently, the IMF program that we are currently on, clearly everything points to the fact that we are on track. We just received our third tranche of $360 million, bringing the total disbursement to $1.56 billion. Mr. Speaker, we went through a successful review somewhere in April, and then on June 28th, the approval came for the third tranche to be released. Mr. Speaker, we look forward to a very successful review again come end of September, end October. My friends on the other side don't know what they are talking about, but I am talking to the data. I'm not talking to their feelings, but to the data that I have in front of me, and it's consistent with what I'm saying. And so, Mr. Speaker, we are on track. We have not derailed with the IMF program. Unlike our friends who we saw derail the IMF program that cost so much to the nation way back in 2016. That is not what we are doing. We are bent on keeping, we are bent on staying within the limits that have been approved for us, and we are bent on agreeing and living within the targets that we have set for ourselves under the IMF program.
Akwahumasika na numu hono mo fotosanfo numunyafo Mohammed Amin Adam wakinkan ye no na pinyina okasa edemadom kuma no sikasemu numunyafo Isaac Adongo wo kire na adwen ede afa hono pinyina kasa ye mu no na wo kirim se Ghana esikasem ajigu dadaada ansa na COVID-19 na mpo Ukraine Russia ntokwa no eba beyi ni tintu obi kogina babi na wakase Ukraine and Russia ntokwa COVID-19 na ka ho bi eni esikasem eye basa nipa no se bimpredus wo twan kontompo edi akire Ghana fo no nyamfo Isaac Adongo kirim se Bank of Ghana report edi adanse here.
First of all, we need to agree on the fact that in 2019, even before COVID-19, the government of the day had already plunged this country into serious fiscal quagmire. Mr. Speaker, the fact remains that this government has never successfully implemented an ECF program from the IMF. Mr. Speaker, in 2019 April, the government of Ghana wrote to the IMF requesting the IMF to allow them to exit from the program that they inherited because they could not meet the performance criteria. At the time, Mr. Speaker, they had missed the criteria on the wage bill, they had missed the criteria on the net international reserves, and as a matter of fact, Mr. Speaker, they had missed the criteria on the central bank being barred from providing and printing money for government. And yet they went pleading with the IMF that after having added one more year, they were simply not going to be able to meet the criteria, and so they should be allowed to go home. So it never happened that this government succeeded in running that IMF program, but they ran away from the program after 4 years. The Bank of Ghana, in the monetary policy statement of September 2019, made it very clear that the governor was very concerned with our fiscal situation and that we are likely to end the year in 2019 with huge fiscal deficit. So, Mr. Speaker, it is not true that the problems are attributable to COVID-19. When the audited accounts of Bank of Ghana were released in 2022, in the midst of all the hue and cry, the governor of the central bank issued a statement to clarify why we were in that mess. And in that statement, I have it in my hand, nowhere did the governor mention COVID-19 or Russia-Ukraine war as the basis for where we were. That even in the period that we find ourselves, where a lot of our youth are unemployed, you begin to see a government in power actually preying on the vulnerability of our unemployed youth. You move unemployment from 8% to 14%, and all you can tell the unemployed youth who are looking up to you to tell them how you create the jobs for them, to tell them how they will get the next meal. What you tell them is that you give them mobile phones so that every man will pay 1 cedi, 2 cedi. How does that create a solution to the unemployment situation? This is a visionless government that they intentionally created this unemployment for our youth so they could pay them for election purposes.
Yegusua womrashe bidwemu media budget review egusua ekoso masiriafo gusua ebobo hono ena okọ parliament committee on finance openi odano onko ya mrashe bidwene de made shewo okan kwe central munyamfo Patrick ya bo amade atudwa chese abanhye bi a ode aba ebi ti se one district one factory no abeboa pa sanse nipa be se 170,000 and a one district one factory yetimi afomadwuma mu.
Mr. Speaker, the data provided by the minister gives hope and confidence to the good people of Ghana that this party, the MPP party and MPP government, is the party that will be able to take Ghana to the next level, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, listening to comments from the other side, even the best growth figures reported under the NDC before they exited in 2016 was 3.4%, Mr. Speaker. Coming out of COVID and making sure that we've stayed within the parameters of the IMF program. The same IMF has revised the growth rate of the country to 4.7%, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, leadership is key. As I speak with you, Mr. Speaker, India has surpassed South Korea in the manufacturing sector from $50 billion to $400 billion. I'm making a point, Mr. Speaker, to the effect that this government, knowing what the manufacturing sector stands to do in the area of job creation, came to this House with an automobile policy that has led to the setting up of over 14 companies to assemble vehicles to export to other countries. This has led to the creation of a lot of jobs in and around the country, and the facts are there to show, Mr. Speaker. Those on the other side have visited most of the plants, especially those on the trade committee, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the 1D1F program has created over 170,000 jobs in this country. And it is true, Mr. Speaker. Over 142 companies are working. And you know the importance of industry. That is why you must support the government in that project. I haven't seen any of you condemn that project, Mr. Speaker. 1D1F has created over 170,000 jobs in this country. Go around the factories and see them. They are dotted around the country, and it's for you to go and have a look. Ask your trade committee. They've been going around to visit them, and we intend to add more and more of the factories to create jobs for the people.
Monetary Policy Committee meeting abaso ewon kran we ni hyemu etoso oha ene edu enkono ye 119 na dwumade ase no na amrado da Bank of Ghana no urumanyamfo Ernest Addison wakasa edi atodwa se Ghana esikasem no enhyeda enyina yi ohwese na fa wo ekosoro nyina munkane ani nsu bo ekosoro ni nyina no emwa Ghana kra na so nyina mu no monetary rate aban ahwe ahunu se ebegina 29% no so beboa na sika krabia hodo wo Ghana omudwumadie afa ne toma pa ediefra.
On the domestic scene, GDP growth outturn for the first quarter of 2024 was stronger than expected. Economic activity remained resilient in the context of generally tight policy stance. This is shown by the latest GDP data released by the Ghana Statistical Service and the subsequent upward revision of growth estimates. Similarly, high-frequency indicators of economic activity, which are more recent, suggest stronger growth outcomes. Consumer and business confidence sentiment softened, driven by the rapid exchange rate depreciation observed in May and high food prices in June 2024. As the exchange rate stabilizes and macroeconomic stability takes hold, the reversal of these sentiments will further help support economic activity. Reserve buildup has been strong in the first half of the year. The external payment positions improved in the first half of the year. The current account surplus significantly improved, aided by strong gold exports, robust remittances, and the effect of the debt suspension. This development, along with the domestic gold purchase program, helped accumulate reserves faster than envisaged under the IMF-supported program. With a favorable external position and a strong reserve buildup, the Bank of Ghana is better positioned to provide cushion against external shocks to the economy and thereby provide stability in the foreign exchange market. Fiscal policy implementation so far has been on track and aligned with the program. Staying on the course of fiscal consolidation path for the rest of the year should lock in stability in the overall macroeconomic conditions. On price developments, there is some uncertainty regarding the inflation path for the year given the recent exchange rate pressures, upward adjustment in utility tariffs, and increases in export fuel prices. The above developments have resulted in a slightly elevated inflation profile for the year. Even though inflation is expected to remain within the target year band, the risks are tilted slightly on the upside. This will require maintaining the strong monetary policy stance, supported by strong fiscal consolidation efforts, including remaining vigilant to ensure that the end-year inflation objectives are achieved. Given these considerations, the committee decided to maintain the policy rate at 29%.
Na yeko nyumeku a ye from Ghana and as eku from Ghana National Association of Garages. Openi okasa mo Ewura Francis Nomo Tete. Openi ke say that to that said that brother finance minister ekinkan media budget review no or the to that say nyumeku a ye cars e wo man mu no aban so ba be so masene na Garages Association one person mu hu emwako a aban de mema sa nyumaku no no mo so wo mahu emwa aban so e de beboa wo muku no.
Na watch mu media budget for the sound food munya for Mohammed Amin Adam okenkan ye no wo kire mu say aban e won hyehye pa e de ma wona wo ye ntoma wona wo ye nduro e na wona wo ye ahyen ho adwuma amwo ye beboa ama menya adwuma nye no atumi abafom na enam so ma kwankire for kasa e de ma Ghana National Association of Garages Unauthorized Francis Nomo Tete e bisa aban say emwa no ne nkire mu ne san e mu de hepoten e na so wo e de mo no e hu hia se wo tie ase na Garages Association o hu ni aban wo e de mo
yebeda aban ase papa say for the first time budget ye ready at least ya tibi kakra e fa the automobile industry ho ya ye Ghana National Association of Garages ye CC cars no yenso ye gidi say under the automobile industry no ye na ye the biggest shareholders enti kakra ye pese ye srefi aban ho ne say budget ne de omaka na mom ye hyede ho appropriations a eba ye yafa na nanka ye hwe nim ne say support aban pese otiman anka yenso ye benya emu echefa edoso pa se de be a ebetimi aboa ama yedwumadie etume akonanim enti ye behwe nim se anka ban ebe breaking it down na yetime aho the kind of supporter aban eka ho asem ye na ye wo Ghana ha na yen yesiesie cars no e wo se aban so odan nene ehwe yen bra ye hwe assembly plant no na ye na ye indigenous ones na ye yesiesie nso no na aban so etwa nene ehwe yen because ye wo how bebre assembly plant ebon se ya pe baby amawon omo establish kama ye bie more assembly plant no na aban so edan nene ahwe ye na ye wo indigenous sector no ye afita for welders prayers ayeso ye wo ho no na timi aboa ma ye nso ye mfree system no mu
awie ebegyina we so na ya home kase ebo no so ne dikan ye ba ebeto kase ebo no so e de amamu.
kasebwe eso yeto ansem no so amamo
yeto ansem no so e de amamu a na watwe mu a media budget esi fam no mresebedwafo ofiri ase a wodi ho abubu na abubu die yase no e na wurumanyamfo Eric Opoku esunafo south mresebedwani wo chirim sa aban akọ aban aba na so kan ka aban hudu nyina no wabo wo Ghana di mu a 16%. NPP aban na akufo do dewa na no e ka wo no nko a wabro e wo Ghana di mu 84%. Edu ho e ka 742 billion Ghana cedis a e mini Ghana e wo subo bia ye fambo NPP aban.
Mr. Speaker, within the last 7 years, this government has increased our debt stock by a whopping 622 billion. Mr. Speaker, what it means is that Nana-Addo Bawumia government has created 84% of our total debt stock. And all the presidents, from Dr. Kwame Nkrumah to John Dramani Mahama, in 60 years, created 60% of our debt. Mr. Speaker, the uncontrollable borrowing of this government pushed Ghana into a morass. Ghana became over-leveraged. We were unable to pay our debts, unable to even pay statutory funds. And Mr. Speaker, we had no option than to go to IMF again. After declaring to this nation that they are not short-sighted people and they will never go to IMF. Are you short-sighted people here? Where are the resources? Today you are there. And Mr. Speaker, the worst of all is that IMF gave us a condition. Before you give you the resources, go and postpone payment of your debt. Debt restructuring. So as we speak, the minister has reported to this house that Ghana has postponed payment of about $30 billion US, including debt from the cocoa sector, to future dates. So they have created debt as inheritance for the upcoming generations. For Ghanaians going on board, Mr. Speaker, during the time of NDC, we saved money for Ghanaian children. We created the Heritage Fund and saved 9% of oil received in that account. Mr. Speaker, as we speak, PIAC has reported that in the Heritage Fund, we have over $1 billion. That is the wealth NDC and John Mahama created for this nation. Yeah. You have created debt for the upcoming generation. Yeah.
Oh my Ghana mu sempempi obinyi kakra bi na oya de na mfa kwa mu a ya hyase ebo ne bayi na yedi omani okọ actividemantam krade ye obia ye di wo safo nyina kogu se wom ya bayifo nti wom kọta hono eno na oman no ye nhyehyɛ de atia de ka no anti witchcraft bill parliament de omasensan bibia akokasa mampani besan ene Ghana de hye de ato Ghana mampani His Excellency Nana-Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo anim se onsan na ememra omem.
Empenfo etabo mo bayi gina susi wona bo ye den konson egu obi mu nan edi bu odua mu ewo fiefie mu no ekosoro papa enam so emamrase badwafie asi anti witchcraft bill 2023 hu gina ya ACC obi bia so obetene nensa eda hwe obi susa asemesi de mehwe wani ase asebi mpredwasa wo ye banfo ne aka ne sense yi omampanyine nensa be hyase na atumi adane mbra ebesi nne enya de omampanyine ede nensa ahyase na kododo na no na efira ase a wo sraban se bill no aban fa nensa enhyase a Ghana fo bi akasa afa ho
obia ewo gidie sunkun bi a ogidi enti yentumi ngina wo gidie so emmo bi gidie enka nchiro bi se ono de oye baifo na anka ye besre no se be na ye de abre no ese wo san wo yi be boa ye ama ye ma me no bebre a omo wo nkura se amanynyini ise ye bom nyina baifo no na we ni nyina atumi agyae
eskafo ne de yenti on beyi what skani ayati ne beyi da de be hiafo no kwa ne yeti beyi because ohieni no che se nyanya monipos ne pe adwendwen na oye ne amanse so oye nti e beti obeyi but eskafo wo hu skani bia e ka so obeyi for da de bi hiafo no kwa nti esre o mampanyi yesre no ye kotodwe gufam on sign my
to ko ba bi o mo wona menyini sesikani bia e ma mete ho eye hiafo e na e bia ne nipa kro no yare ni ye be hweso ni ye be so so ni ye be ko yare no ana wo be ko na wo tredi a efie wankasa no ohia ohia nti na ọmọ na we say because eskafo skani ba me yare a on betumi ahwe na nipa kro no ho ato no but enam ohia nti no nipa no ho atete oyare I mean we before nti me ma dwem no de say aban no wosan
omo di na chi no omo na wo so omo timi epia no na otimi ehye samra ne se mema wo mo ntete penyinfo biara e wo sa oman mu
me kai se ta no mo ka se mo bia dan pare ka se mo bia engina ho nka se enhye nkomo a ehu hia no ama nyama bia ba forma ma ehu se bibia timi ayi
wo bo obi be yi no wanyanyina so aya wo de bo ne be yi no entimi ma se meti ho no na makobe ma me be yi abra mi ni nyina so bia even kura so fofo ya omo e ka che nkrofo se omo ma me ye beifu a obi tam se kan ya no akotwitwa ne ma me no okunu ni nyina enye nti e wo se wotimi ehwe eno so no wotimi esan ne bill ne maye
the mesre mompeni se ebia bibisa on sign in ntem because am for we mu ewu a lot of people are dying because of this accusation ebi onombo otanu nti eno ka se o mama we ye benfo but say some be onu de ye beji tumu I don't think say obi betimi appoint obi mama so ye benfo.
Dr. Matthew Opoku Pempe ena ebo Dr. Alhaji Mahmood bo mi achidom edi akọ December bosumi abatu mu na opanyini abo na akwa kopie mu ewu krapem hene ena so wasagefo akwasi akufo ewo akrapon akrapem opanyini ka semne na wochirim se bo ma ne kikere ne mpuntuo mu so a ya na ahemfo twaka mu papa enti obesere se ba monyasem so a ahemfo onfo na nontum.
Penyini a woboa Dr. Alhaji Mahmood Baomia Frangatuni di ma NPP no akọ December bosumi abatu mu no ene Dr. Matthew Opoku Pempe na probo asha se openyini ene ya ahemfo wokọ wona so wontirim po nsusu yese amanyuku no woton ede ama ahemfo so wonsum na wonhwe so nto aba emfama NPP no openyini wakwakọ pie mu ewo krapem na nanama tankonya na so a wone nananom akasa Dr. Matthew Opoku Pempe di na so obo nanama no ba se Ghana fo to aba ede ma NPP ahemfo so oman no ho nsɛnkan oman mpuntu oman kyekyereɛ obenya kwanya wo mu papa ugina so a empinifo agina pipa manyuku ni dimu owura Eric Yeboa Samuel Awuku Daniel Nana Ado Kenneth ede empinifo be gina NPP manyuku ni dimu owo krapem na namatra nkonya asase so no woda wona di esere empinifo se won kai won
yebeka no credit a e kan musi bond of 1844 ahemfo kwa den san 28 February rise in kai ahemfo okay na emom de eman no ye kyekere no se nananum nyina abegi atuma yakofa bibia ba so your hina onye politics eno de nya no kure mi nyindi omo your hina onhye party atare but nananom so de obna tea baako edom de amayen omo nananom se yehwe so eti ni minkasa nana nkose kukurudu kukurudu ne bia eno apon kakra se yehwe so fama omu enti sabe o se ade yo yi opo ni nanan mo konya no teso na de ona nanan ja obeyi bi afrim o nhwe ma ne nsai eti e ba ha ye de hu be janana ni aka che ne se adwuma dom de hye nsa no ene adu yeso yeso eto aso ni amaha amagi nhia ya maha mra mbie ekwan a yetimi nwura kwapemam yetimi na yeden wako bi fie na wako ni hoho harafie obi ohan dan akodi nkomo obe fiera ho no aka se adwuma na di jabe no me ye ni ye me bebu akonta na wasa hia me akoto so tene ba ha sem tie
efutuo ne de eno ane se no kware a odi edi wenim na ejuma pa a odi edi wenim no eno na ye hwehwe eno na nananum hwehwe eno na Ghana man so hwehwe se Ghana ne de ye na yende sebe enti se yesuso yen na yasen na yetumi di koyenim na wa pause beka ora ho dia ene wo na obeye ne commando so ono no ye ejuma no konenim na wo techi na dirty work ne nyama na eti se wo ye na omanga na bete wonka se mu ba be ye ejuma pa no won so bete enti ne inhira ne de bebre wo ho na ye de be hirehira mo so
se we hia wo party fu vote na wo de agina enti by all means o man ani nku ne party fo na mmom se wonya de hyenensa say Ghana na obeboa no ahwe so a eno de onhwe Ghana fu nyina so if you say sa na na berma oye prempeh the second not oji ni penyina nti esanse me no esana manante ona se nti minim sa de ne say ji ni penyina na ubehun say obia so say MPP fukura na aba bon say NDC fo nya wa atamfo NDC fo na aba oyimu nya wa atamfo asantemam na saade na wo pa onu yanim
Yeremo eko asante mantema hinkro kumase emu na opani ono ane tu omampani fo anaso tu abanfo eba na pomuden ensemu a Dr. Nsia Asare opani kase de atodwa chese abefu mfidie ene abefu kwan a yefaso de ayarehwe emo omanfo no eyade bia ababebo man Ghana omanfo apomuden epa
Sine beya apomudin ensem ebetimi akoyie ewo man Ghana ha enkanka emia hodo aya na edin sempo sasem esia ka betimi akohonom na bia nnuro ena amamfo hi a omo ebetimi nya no enam so ema MPP aban omo ye nhyehyeye a zipline technology omo ehya ase asisia Ghana ha de ebase baabi wo hokra mpo na emuwa na asem esia ye de drone na kyese ye de saa eniema ne ko na no ena empanyimfo abepiem okumase ewa santemantema omo bu nkompo ahwese afra say a year 2023 no eba zipline technology and share no mo yete say eno and a Dr. Nsia Asare a presidential advisor on health e kasa wo kire say san hyehyeye abefo kwanso etimi aboa pa
abai any zipline a coin to partnership no infienum ni so far so good esunsuan so a yenya a free sa ade papa na aban de bae no a se no aba abaye ade abetena o Ghana ha na wohwe ewiase memu nyina in fact Rwanda na ehe ase but say Rwanda almost 2 distribution centers they say Ghana na yede ekese pa ewonsia yede miunika wana ayewotwe ebetimi de enuro emoja any the friend of vaccines the call especially baby a ebi ensuo to ana ho yi you say yini be country ekwa ne nyina demo a bebi ho average nye adwuma no we nye adwuma ena de toso mienu say ebetimi de no na call intentem akosayare bia na drone bi ni ho it is a plan ni me pina bagana ha we apomudene ama apomudene etimi ko ba bia o se ko bia ama obi anka oni bia ontimi ma krokasie mu emepe nronto won fa nko o fa blood ko refri ha akomampo a chese wono aba e ka obo ho obi antimi nka eti o hwe apomudene ko zipline aye adwuma pa we na kire se technology o di ba omemu na otimi ehye ne yese de aye no zipline no a eboa ne mapi
eno echi no owura ayere mebe sechere okopie mu ewo zipline krobata e wo sehwehwe so no ene da no ono so ne stemtrefo kasa
zipline ye ba ye emfie no mu ani yenya impact ebebre ewo Ghana has if ye share in terms of vaccine delivery ye ba ye ya boa ma vaccine CCR no is just a call away say omu hia vaccine eno ane say obefa ne phone no afre zipline or wa rehemu say zipline the vaccine no ebesoma drone no emriti awe bi sima vaccine no aba ona bobo ano na omo ede asom omanfo enti eba no 5 years ye impact a vaccine no de Ghana coverage no CCR no yetimi increase no by 54% enti vaccine deliveries ne de yabo ye homodin pa ewo Ghana ha sei na yensan so enhwe emoja ma omukọ awo so bi wo ho obekọ na ohia moja bi emoja no se omu nchichemu ebi wo ho no mo a na ohia kokọ no na ohia emu nsuo ne pe na yenhwa ne se wo yira akọ na ohia moja no nsuo pe se de be ya ebi a moja bi etu no omo de besoso ano na yankonya bi a eyade a eha efi se ma bebre wo ho a before zipline no omo ehwe wo mo nkwa because of sa adiwe and so zipline ba ye no yetimi aboa
ebejana we so na nimpire ni so no ya home kasebo no eso ya ba ebeto aso edi amamo